the effort tonight?
Disappointed, for sure. I mean, we really wanted to win that game, and right now I'm just disappointed. I think uh, after a season like that, the fans deserve to have a last win at home, and that's all what mattered to me tonight, and couldn't do it. So it's just disappointing right now.
What do you take away personally from this season, and what do you want to hope to build on personally?
Uh, just getting better still. I want to improve my game. I want to get stronger. Uh, I just want to be all around, play a better player, and help the team even more.
Finally, there are some young pieces that have grown. Do you feel that, with some veterans, some experience, that this team can improve next year?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys still forget that we're a young team. That's for sure. But at some point, we got to start winning. And but I obviously didn't lose trust in our group. We have. I think we got a good core, and yeah, like we just gotta keep moving forward. And yeah, sometimes it hurts, but at the end, it's gonna feel even better if we're gonna win at some point. So sometimes you gotta go through lows to get the highs.
Nico, is it, so, for a while now you've kind of known that this would be the last game of the season, but is it kind of hard to digest that this is where you are again with like 82 games and that's where it ends?
I mean, that we're not making playoff was a little bit earlier already clear, so I was already disappointed there. But obviously, it doesn't change now. So what's now, like I said before, is just we wanted to win that game for the fans that came out tonight and still supported us, even if we're not making the playoffs. So that's a disappointing thing for me tonight.
What wasn't working, you think, against the Red Wings tonight that maybe didn't allow you to find that momentum? You're obviously fighting back in that game and tying it up 3 times.
Yeah, we're just not strong enough. We're in some areas of the ice rink we're soft, where you can't be soft, so that cost us goal. And yeah, at the end of the day, they scored one more goal, and at the end they got an empty netter. But yeah, it's just it's just disappointing, like I said, but it is what it is.
Nico, it's obviously difficult to assess all these things after a season-ending loss, but what did you see out of some of the young guys who had a chance to make the mark, like Fabian, Nolan, and Nikita tonight, who, maybe they might be a solid part of this team next season?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously good to see them coming in here and execute their game plan, playing well for us, and yeah, that's what we need for them too. Pushing us from down there and coming up, playing well. It's gonna make us a better hockey team, and that's what a good organization do. So that's obviously a good thing.
Linda, your thoughts on the final game and just a little bit of maybe a microcosm of the season. You guys had some bright spots, but then you gave up maybe too many goals.
Yeah, I think you summed it up. There's some good parts of that game. I was worried about the game because back to back, it was 5 games in 7 nights, and I thought we had some guys that had, good energy. We had some guys that didn't have much, and guys that had been giving us a lot. So, big picture, I think I'd just focus on the fact that we've had some young guys that have given us a lot of hockey, and there's been a lot of good in the way the youth has played.
How do you, going forward, evaluate a team when your goalie situation was probably never really a number one goalie all year long? So how does that factor in?
Well, we know, and Tom knows, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of evaluating to do. We have a lot of decisions we got to make. We know we have to be better. I believe in the core of this team. I believe in the youth. There's nights that the energy of this team was tremendous. Was it always the smartest energy? No. But was the energy good? Was there ever any quit? No. Even tonight, it kind of summed up the year that puck just crosses the goal line. You know, and I think sometimes you have to suffer pain to get to the next level. When you don't have your 1 and 2 goalie, it's hard. We put a lot of strain. We tried to play, you know, sometimes a little bit of a different way, but at the same time, trying to use the players that we know what their strengths are. But we know where we got to get to. We know it's not going to be easy to get there, but the youth that had a good year, we know they have to take the next step.
Finally, thinking of the next step, guys like Brad, guys like Jack, did take the next step, and how positive is that for you?
Yeah, well, those are the guys I'm mentioning. That there was nights where Jack just dominated games. You look at the year Brad had. You look at the year Sharon Govich started really slow, but you know the last 3 quarters of the year have been good for him. We have to roll that into how can you be better. You look at the year Nico had when he was healthy, how good he played. You know, I think there was a stretch he had 35 points in 30 games, and he was really actually dominating, you know, a lot of the offensive situations and being our best defensive player at the same time. So, you know, a couple guys in our back end, same thing. Siegenthaler, that we knew very little about, solid year. You look at Sevy's year, you know, so you go to some of the positives, you realize that there's a hard road ahead of us. We know that. We know that.
Nico was just standing up here talking to us before, and he visibly looked disappointed with the effort tonight, with how things kind of have unraveled over the last couple weeks. What do you tell someone like that, who is a young captain who you can tell deeply, deeply cares about the team and winning and trying to maybe avoid too much disappointment?
No, I think you should be disappointed. That's the caring part. You got to hate losing. Hate losing. That's the part I like about Nico. He cares. Carries his emotions on his sleeve, and that's why he's a true leader. He's a guy you want to follow. And you know, we've seen the injuries he's suffered because of, you know, putting his body in front of block shots, the way he plays physically. And then you got to remember how old he is. You know, you got to remember how old Jack is. You got to remember how old some of these guys are. I remind myself of that every day to help me, because to get them to the next step, they know that they have to use some of this pain to be better. And that's what I asked of them after the game.
Lindy, what did you see from Blackwood tonight? I know it's been a hard thing for this team with their goalies, but for his journey back into the lineup and the tail end of the season.
Well, you know, I'm sure there's a couple he would, you know, he'd want back, but you have to realize the road he's traveled, all the time he's missed. That takes an incredible toll on your goaltender at the same time. Just the fact that he made the effort to get back and try to be part of this team, try to help this team win. He put an incredible load on his shoulders and said, I'm going to give it a try. But I think he knows that there's a couple goals out there that when I have my A game, they don't go in.
Lindy, there was a young trio out there tonight: Nolan, Nikita, and Fabian. Who, you know, what did you think of their game tonight and what they were able to bring since being retold over the last couple of weeks?
I would say that, you know, if you want me to analyze that, I thought Fabian was our best forward out there tonight. Energy-wise, his strength along the walls. You know, where physically sometimes we got dominated again inside the blue line at the start of the third period, where, you know, Merce got physically dominated. We didn't get a puck out. This kid was good on the walls. He was strong down low. And then you go along. I mean, Foot got to the front of the net on our tying goal, or the goal before the second goal, we were able to take a look at some guys normally you wouldn't take a look at. I think they got a real test of how hard it really is. Because sometimes you can fool yourself. You can say, "Oh, I've been playing great in the American League. This should be easy." It's not easy. I think they realize that. It's not easy. Sometimes that one battle you have on the wall, that might mean the game. So those are big moments for all those young players.
Lindy, you mentioned, seeing, that a lot of the young players that you've seen, you saw some growth in them. But for some of the younger players here, how do you handle a conversation with them going into next season now of, okay, this season's behind you now. This is what you have to do to get better?
Well, I mean, we have a laundry list of things for each player that you go through. Some of it is on-ice cardio. Can you totally finish a 40-second shift, or do you die? The areas that you're physically weak, you just go through the list of things that you need players to make improvements. If they make improvements, usually that their game gets better. We can go to the laundry list we had for Jack from last year going into this year. I'll say improve your shot, physically stronger, stuff like that, where all those improvements, I think we saw as coaches, you saw as fans, you saw as media, that Jack made tremendous strides. And when you're this young, you have an opportunity. I've had players that lasted 3 years that I've bumped into down the road years ago say, "Man, I wish I would have worked harder. Man, I wish I would have done this in the summer. Man, I wish I would have." Those are the things you want a young guy to guard against. Here, you've got an opportunity at age 21 or 22 to make a difference for the rest of your career.
And you mentioned the evaluation of what this is, the direction of organization. Are you going to plan on watching some of Utica in the playoffs, going to there and seeing some of the players that they have?
Well, like I said, it has been it's a good experience for me to get to see these guys play, to be behind the bench and be able to analyze them at this level. For them to go back now, they have a chance, with as good as that team has been all year, to win a championship. And you know how hard that will be at the American League level? Probably harder than this level. I mean, it is a hard league. So that can be the backbone of a springboard for a lot of these players, the winning part of it. Take what you learned up here, go down there, and help make that team a winner. Not just a winner, a championship team.